mighty flagship currently serves as a prison for the Lassie apprehended in Nautilus.
What's with the freak show? So the Primarch can stand in judgment of the villainous Lassie, with their execution as the climax. The people will cheer their demise, and Fal'Cie dominion will be undisputed.
All part of the plan?
Yes, but it also presents an opportunity.
In a display of unwavering dedication to duty, the Primarch himself has boarded the Palamecia and focused his personal attention on resolving the Pulse crisis.
They're baiting us, trying to draw us out.
Bait, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Here are your friends. Come and get them.
Well, if they're daring us to mount a rescue, I'll take that action. All in.
Alrighty, bets are on the table. We leave when you're ready. I'll be standing by.
Hello and welcome back to my Let's Challenge of Final Fantasy XIII. As you can see, we just got our trophy for completing Chapter 8, and as is my wont, we'll now have a quick recap as to what on earth happened in Chapter 8 before moving on here in Chapter 9. So Chapter 8 was a chapter all about Vanille and Sazh. So they arrive in Nautilus, hoping to essentially continue to run away from their Lassie fate, essentially, and also the impending and closing net of the military, the Sanctum military. So they arrive in Nautilus, the city of dreams, known as essentially a huge amusement park for Cocoon citizens to relax and enjoy themselves and essentially forget about all of the worries, including the Lassie. However, as they arrive, they see footage from Palampolum, where they see that Lightning and Hope have indeed been found, and also Vanille sees not alongside Snow, but she also sees Fang for the first time in ages, and indeed she can't quite believe that she sees her there. So anyway, they do their utmost to hold back their emotions as they observe the as they see the public around them and the Cocoon's own attitude towards the Lassie, and they see how sort of disparaging and how much they hate the Lassie for what they are. So they see all of that and they're just reminded of their own fate. They then continue on. They go to the Pompa Sancta parade, a very famous parade in Nautilus, which essentially is a parade that showcases the story of the War of Transgression, the Great War that occurred 500 years ago between Cocoon and Pulse. Describes a tale of essentially Pulse attacking Cocoon, using their Lassie, and then the Sanctum and their brave Lassie coming back to defend Cocoon and eventually defeat Ragnarok and stop the invasion. Once all of that happened, then Vanille and Sazh would continue. We're continuing on. Vanille is still struggling. She's struggling with her own fate, but additionally she's struggling with the fact that she knows that it was her actions, along with Fang, that caused Saz's son to become a Lassie. And at the same time, Sazh himself is struggling. He knows that there is little left for him here. There's little left for him on Cocoon. His son is a Lassie, taken by the Sanctum, and if he wants any chance to see his son again, he thinks he's going to have to turn himself in. So, after a brief encounter with some chocobos, which Sazh pleasantly reminisces about how his son loved chocobos, he then decides to tell Vanille that he's going to hand himself in, and in doing so, essentially guarantee himself death, because they know that l'Cie will be executed. However, he is praying that the Sanctum will be at least human enough to give him one last chance to see his son. Vanille, shocked at this, says that he needs to find something to live for, and indeed baits him into chasing after the pulse l'Cie that actually caused his son to be branded a l'Cie. And indeed, this does rile him up, but at the same time, before he can question Vanille further about this, they are shot at by the Nautilus guards, and all hell breaks loose. So, not ready to die at the hands of the military yet, and indeed wanting to keep Vanille safe, Vanille and Sazh fight their way through, but eventually Dahj randomly appears, and Sazh can't believe his eyes to see his own son once more. And just like that, his son turns to crystal. And followed by his son are Jill Nabat, one of the lieutenants, I should say lieutenant, one of the lieutenants of the, one of Psychom's lieutenants, who essentially comes in and first of all tells him that obviously Dahj's actual focus was the capture of Pulse l'Cie, and indeed that's what he has done in bringing, in allowing Sazh and Vanille to fall into her hands, and that's why he turned to crystal. Additionally, she then reveals to Sazh what Vanille has been holding back for so long, that it was Vanille and Fang's actions at the Uriday Gorge energy plant that actually caused his son to be branded a Sanctum l'Cie. Vanille, in tears, runs away, and Sazh chases after her. But he reaches for his guns as Vanille opens her arms and says, "You might as well shoot me." He says he knows that that won't bring his son back. He knows that he can't just shoot this girl based on that, and he has no idea what he's going to do. And so, in his moment of utter despair, the Eidolon from within his brand reaches forth and challenges him to a do-or-die battle. And whilst Sazh is willing to give in at that moment, Vanille stands in front of him, refusing to let him die. And seeing the young girl's resolve, Sazh then steps in as well, and they battle and they defeat the Eidolon, only for then afterwards the same realization of what on earth there is. Sazh knows he couldn't live with himself if he killed Vanille. As he says, indeed, there are some things that can be forgiven, but killing kids ain't one. But at the same time, he has no son, and he lives his life as a Pulse l'Cie. He turns his guns on himself. The next thing we see is Vanille and Sazh, and the body of Sazh having been captured by Psychom, and they have been brought aboard the Palamecia, which is where we join Lightning and Co. They are obviously just seen the news broadcast, which is telling everyone what on earth is going on. The l'Cie that were apprehended in Nautilus are ready for their public execution in front of the Primarch himself and figurehead of the Sanctum.
The Psychom fleet has us under surveillance. While we're busy watching the Lindblom, you slip aboard the Palamecia. When the time is right, our brigade will launch an all-out assault to back you up.
So as you can see, we can talk to each of the main characters. We obviously have Sid Raines here, head of the cavalry. We've also obviously going to chat to Snow.
Rescuing Sazh and Vanille is our top priority. You gotta play it smart this time. Charging in without a plan. Listen to me, talking strategy.
Do you have another thing to say? Yes, he does.
Excuse for Primarch. Oh, he just does whatever the fallacy tell him to. There's no way we're losing to a poser like him. Raines wants to take Cocoon back from the fallacy. That's why I decided to back him up on all this. This plan works out. I'll be doing what Sarah wanted to. Rescuing Sazh. We gotta play.
Okay, so essentially, it looks like each of these guys might have
There's no way we're losing to him.
each of these guys might actually have a few little things that we want to hear from them. Let's just see.
Agent Farron, it is essential that you capture the Primarch alive. We need his testimony to convince the people of the Sanctum's true nature. Once people learn of the Val'Cie deception, it should ease some of this Pulsian panic. With luck, we can avoid the loss of any more civilian lives in the name of this l'Cie hunt. The Sanctum has raised its citizens like livestock under the orders of the Foul Sea Eater. That all ends today. We will topple the sanctum, and the reins of governmental to the people. This is a battle to wrest control from the Foul Sea and win Cocoon its freedom.
So as Reigns correctly says there, obviously, essentially not only do they want to rescue Sazh and Vanille, but obviously this group have actually refound a new purpose that to go on with. Not only just to survive and stop their Lacidum, but actually they've realised that why on earth should the humans of Cocoon be taking their orders from Foul Sea and be treated as pets as they are. So anyway, we can talk to Hope here. It's good to know that Bartholomew's okay.
The supposed to be responsible for ensuring the future of Cocoon. That's what I learned in school. It's just that they're ensuring the Foul Sea's future, not ours. Looks like I ended up in a battle against the Sanctum after all. I guess I'm fighting for a different reason now, though. It's not about revenge anymore.
And that is a good thing, Hope. It's a good thing that it's no longer about revenge. And we can finally talk to Fang.
Come on, let's get this show on the road. I finally found Vanille again. And I'll be damned if I'm just going to stand around while she's in trouble. I'm not kidding when I say the world can burn if that's what it takes to save Vanille. You've got to get in there and take this Geisley guy down. That'll pay Reigns back for helping us out. And be one in the eye for the Sanctum. Their reward for trying to kill us. So Reigns is Brigadier General, and you're a sergeant? What's with the whole ranking system anyway? You Cocoon folks sure like your rules and regulations. Explains why you've put up with the Sanctum's nonsense for so long.
So then finally we can talk to Rigdea over here.
Once we take off, there's no turning back. You're sure you're ready?
And we can take off. We'll obviously have a cutscene and then we'll go into, I believe we have a battle as soon as we land.
This baby back here is a SciComm vessel. It'll deliver you to the Palamisia.
Oh, we're cargo now?
A parting gift to our rotting government. Take those SciComm guys apart.
And we're supposed to take on all of them? I think the whole division's on board.
I don't care how many lackeys they've got. Bring them on. Vanille's in there.
I'm sure she's fine. Vanille's tougher than I could ever be.
Hope, are you scared?
Yeah, I'm terrified. But I'll be okay. Because I have you. And this guy. And Fang. We're all in this mess. We gotta stick together.
Right. Enough with the bonding. It's go time.
What do you mean, this guy?
We didn't expect to see you here in person, Your Eminence.
This crisis threatens the entirety of Cocoon, my child. You agree that standing in the fore is a leader's charge?
Wholeheartedly.
It also affords a splendid view of the impending execution.
What's the hold-up?
Stand by. Verifying identification code.
You let me land this bird or I'll crash her into your ass. Code verified. You're free to dock. About damn time.
So here we go, the first battle of Chapter 9, and it is against some, obviously, some Psychon members. Indeed, obviously, these first few battles can be slightly annoying. Obviously, we can't actually control the paradigms we have actually at the start of this chapter. Very start. Obviously, we will once the chapter continues. But these are obviously these are the basic enemies of this chapter essentially. So you got the raiders and the infiltrators. Again, once more, the Psychom soldiers going into pairs of melee and ranged weapons. So as you saw, one of these guys, I believe it was the raider, who tried to cast Mana Drive Fog on us. So Fog is an interesting ability. Essentially, it's another status element, one of the stronger ones. What Fog does is essentially it completely makes a character unable to use all magic abilities. So obviously, for someone like Hope, that would be completely terrifying, because obviously he only uses magic abilities. For someone like Fang, who uses far more physical abilities, that wouldn't be so much of an issue. Similarly, there is obviously an equivalent. So the equivalent for magic, sorry, the equivalent for physical attacks is called Pain. And that's the introduction to Fog and Pain, two new...
No kidding. So where to?
Right up there.
So yeah, so we have Fog and Pain, two new status elements that get introduced at the start of this chapter. So obviously we have our Crystarium, we have quite a lot, a decent amount to add to our Crystarium, although I think these will be expensive. Yeah, so 1,000. Well, we've got Blindside, we've got Scourge, and we've got Roll Level. So essentially Scourge is very much the same as Smite, except for any enemy that isn't launched. It doesn't need to be a launched enemy in order to actually have an effect. So essentially, Smite is obviously an attack which does a very large amount of enemy to a staggered enemy that is just about to finish their stagger, essentially. So if we just raise all of these, let's have a look. So we've got a raise over here, which isn't too important because we do have Hope. Renew is quite useful, but it's obviously quite far away. What's along here? Water Ra. I think we'll go along Ravager first, because that's the role that we'll largely be using lightning in this chapter. Once more, we'll go up. Lazara. Veil. Veil is essentially an ability which grants the person you cast it on, essentially means they're far less likely to be influenced by, it's far less likely that status elements put on them will land, which is actually really, really helpful. We could go Boon. 1, 2, 3. Can't quite reach it. What's along here? Renew as well, but Renew I believe is a technique, and therefore we actually won't be able to use it as Hope, so it's not actually that important. So I think Boon is the most important here. Then we can go to Fang, who actually had a fair amount left. Life Siphon is good. Steel Guard is excellent, as Snow would tell you. Steel Guard is literally what he uses all the time. And then we get Dispel. So Dispel essentially removes target's most a status enhancement. So if an enemy casts Bravery on themselves, or Faith, or anything like that, you can use Dispel to actually get rid of it. And then obviously we get Curse, which I've already explained. Essentially means it's more likely that you're more likely that you will actually interrupt enemies' attacks, and less likely that you will be interrupted by enemy attacks. So we've got Death Ward, which is Well, snow isn't so important because obviously we're not actually using him this chapter. Pretty much the entirety of the chapter we don't use him. But as always, his sentinel abilities are very important. So we'll just make our way around here. There we go, lovely. So, now, paradigms. So, Relentless Assault is important. We definitely want... Unfortunately, because obviously Fang can't be a Ravager, so therefore our best staggering paradigm is actually Smart Bomb at the moment, which isn't the best. I like having Devastation. Oh, sorry, Decimation, which is that one. We'll want... Yeah, Comrade Sen. We'll probably want a combat clinic in there as well. I will start off in Decimation just because, yeah, I think... Yeah, we'll start off in Decimation, get off at least one Protect slash Shell, or whatever we can. And those are all good items. We can actually remove these. So, how do we remove? Remove, there we go. So, here we go. The landing dock of the Palamithia. We're obviously going to have, I believe this is exactly the same battle as, oh no, slightly different. Obviously, 2 infiltrators this time. You can see that, so as you can see, so infiltrators can cast Cura, so that's rather annoying. Certainly something that we want to stop them doing at all times. Hope, if I'd asked you to heal anyone, it would have been yourself, but there we go. So Asuna essentially, I believe we've already covered Asuna, but essentially what Asuna does is it just removes any status elements from your own team. So it's essentially Dispel, but for yourselves. Here's some Fog. Fog's okay on Fang, as long as it's not on Hope. Hope would be annoying. Okay. I'm just debating whether we want to put aggression on this team. We might well want to. But what would we put it instead of? Just casual super jumping ability, not quite sure where she got that, but yeah, I'm just going to do we want to say that solidarity is going to be enough? Or do we only want one healing paradigm is the question. Oh, this is a difficult choice actually. I think that's better. And rather than that, we'll have that. And we'll start off in Smart Bomb. And if we have to go to Strategic Warfare, then we do have to go to Strategic Warfare. But I think that's the better way to do this. So we're going to make our way through this sort of opening little area.
What now?
Right, we head up here, and then get lifted up. Did someone just jump and miss it? Because that's really, really amusing. Anyway. So we'll head down here, grab an item, and then I think we obviously just have to start making our way through the ship.
Something bad's waiting for us.
Won't be going back that way.
We'll find another route.
Way ahead of you. See that?
Let's go.
So this is going to be the first of a few sections that we have essentially outside on the edge of this ship, and we have introduction to one of definitely the most annoying enemies in this chapter, which are these deck drones. I believe they are called, yes. These guys are an absolute nightmare. At the moment they'll be okay. And the reason for that is essentially, obviously there's not many of them, which is always helpful. Obviously, as you saw very early on, they are immune to electric attacks, so... we really need to get Fang Curse, because otherwise I can't reliably use her in Smart Bomb, because if I tried to put Smart Bomb on right now, she wouldn't do anything. Which absolutely sucks, but, you know, it's just the situation. That's why Vanille is such a better saboteur. Such a better saboteur. Anyway, we'll take out those guys nice and simply. In small groups you can be really aggressive. In much larger groups, as you'll see towards the end of this chapter, they can be pretty damn devastating. So you get a nugget of Millerite there. I believe we had a nugget very early on in like chapter 3, but just as a reminder, any items like Millerite, stuff like that, are essentially used in upgrades. So if you want to upgrade your weapon from one level to the next. Okay, we want to take out this Dragoon. Much like the aerial recon that we saw in chapter 7 with with Hope and Snow. The Dragoons are pretty similar in that they have some very hard-hitting attacks that have a very annoying habit of interrupting you quite often. So we might see what really dangerous about these deck drones pretty soon, if we're not careful. Why are you casting slow on the other one, Fang? That makes literally no sense. So what you'll find is that essentially these deck drones, after a certain amount of time, will go for a much more powerful electric-based attack that is very, very dangerous actually. So whilst they're doing these sort of basic little physical attacks, they're not too much of a threat. But as soon as they start charging up for their bigger attack, they become a hell of a lot more scary of an enemy. So is there anything over here? Doesn't look like it, no.
You can barely see the top.
Ah, feel that wind on your face.
So is that 5 of these guys? Or is it 2 and 3? 5 of them, okay. This is going to be a difficult battle. This one we are actually going to need to go into strategic warfare, I think. Because I think Bar Thunder is going to be in order here. Do we know everything? Yes, we do. Good. Oh, Love some bar thunder here, Hope. Would go decimation, but just yeah. We should be okay. Need to finish this one off. There we go. Good. Well done. Okay, tornado kick, there's the dangerous move. So what we want to do is we're going to get into combat clinic here, because Fang is going to take a lot. As Sen, she's going to actually be okay, but if she hadn't been a sentinel there, she would have taken a lot of damage. And essentially, it's difficult, those ones, because if you let them target... If there's obviously a large group like there is here, and they can end up targeting like multiple enemies, or they can actually end up just like, you know, all focusing on one of you. And obviously if they do that, then you're going to be in trouble. Come on. I wish you wouldn't keep going for slow guy, it's really annoying. But there's nothing I can do about her going, using slow guy instead of just the basic slow. So, we're going to quickly make our way through the remaining ones of these. As soon as we're down to this smaller group, they're really not a threat. We should actually get stagger here. Ah, wrong one. We can go to Relentless Assault, and Fang should have a full ATB just for some nice big hits. There we go. There we go, lovely. Finally, as well. So we defeat those deck drones, and we can continue to move along here. Come on. If it's only one of you, I'm really not scared.
Back me up. Time for another approach.
Lovely. So there we go. So we get some incentive chips, which are essentially just you sell them for money, and that's all they're useful for, particularly. And now, so it looks like we've got some more dragoons, some deck drones, and that should be it for this little section. Like I said, I mean, it's just, personally, I think what this game often does a lot of the time, and indeed is doing here, is essentially it's introducing to you this type of enemy. Although, as you can see, missile burst is quite a lot, and that is what you want to be worried about. Don't go for missile burst. I'm not letting you go for missile burst. Not before sex. So you see that dragoons, if you can't take them out quickly, actually are rather scary.
Keep the enemy off balance.
So once again, we'll get the stagger, and then go to aggression, and that should be that. Okay. There we go, lovely, lovely. So, another group of deck drones. Can't get the preemptives. They're not particularly easy to get preemptives on, which is kind of annoying. Why is Fang always... It seems like she's just going for different enemies randomly, and I'm very confused as to why. Because normally, you know, your Sab will actually attack the same enemy as your your other characters. Seems weird that she should be doing that. Anyway. Okay, well we've unfortunately already got slow on this one, so we can't actually do anything better than go into. You can see that by using the Axis Blade, Lightning is attacking incredibly fast. You can see that her ATB is charging supremely quickly, which is useful in every sense. Especially because it means I get fast refresh of you know, the extra free refill of your ATB you get whenever you change paradigms, or every other time you could change paradigms. So that's even faster, and also just because, you know, when you're a com or you know, when you're a Rav, especially as Lightning, quite often she'll be doing 3 attacks, or sorry, 4 single attacks, whereas so let's take out this Dragoon once more. Okay, Hope is suffering, but we need to get rid of you. Okay. Cool. Okay, because it's a decent group of these, we are going to have to go to strategic warfare just to get some protection. You can see that when there's a Sen on the field, I hope your synergist will naturally prefer the Sentinel than anyone else. Maybe I'll go to Decimation if we can. Okay, there's the tornado kick. So let's see how much that. So yeah, took off like 200, I think, off Hope, which is not great, obviously. Hope, you're aiming at the wrong character, the wrong enemy. Lovely. So now all we've got is should be a turn of relentless assault and then some aggression, and then this deck drone will be down. These battles are a little longer at the moment, but you should soon be zipping through them. There we go, lovely. Indeed, I prefer the battles that we do inside the ship more than the ones that we're currently doing outside. So the ones against Psychom soldiers rather than like the deck drones and stuff like that. Anyway, we can head up here, grab some silicon oil, and then continue. Kind of pointless little battle here, but we'll do it nonetheless. So hopefully aggression will allow us to maintain both staggers here. Yeah, so if you see the other deck drone is still glowing as if it's close to stagger, which is good. Hopefully it is still... Yes, it is. Lovely, so we get through that. We can now head through here. I think we've got like one more relatively large battle. Yeah, so a couple of dragoons and some deck drones. So yeah, we'll see if we can't land the slow. That would be useful if we could just land slow on multiples of these. I dislike the dragoons more than the deck drones generally, but this is definitely a strategic warfare battle. Yes, lovely. That will definitely do very nicely. So your hope got hit by a missile burst there, and it does so much. So I do want to have a quick turn in combat clinic pretty soon. Okay, let's hope for a little more luck here. We do need to start just being a little more aggressive. Okay, so that's that. Good, you should go down. Okay, tornado kick. Do not want to let that happen. Jeez, even in, you know, this guy down, and then we can... Yes, well interrupted. Nice. Okay, good. So now we just got the deck drones left. It'd be so much nicer if I could like put haste on everyone and stuff like that. I think this is something that's always important to remember, is that I am playing the game on slow, so the ATB bars are filling slower than they normally would if you were just playing this game, you know, on the slightly easy difficulty. So, you know, these battles wouldn't be quite so, you know, wouldn't be as difficult. So something you sort of forget in amongst all of everything else, because... So we should be okay here. Boom, boom, boom. Lovely. Smart bomb, lovely. That'll be stagger. And then aggression. I think this will be the final, yeah, this will definitely be the final final battle for this episode, and then there we go, lovely. So we defeat everyone there, and now we are ready. So we'll head into here. There might be a cutscene, I can't remember.
Sazh?
Why can't I do it? I got no reason to keep living. I can't even kill you. Freeze! Take us!
You should be proud.
Sazh?
Enough is enough. Why can't I do it? I got no reason to keep living. I can't even kill you.
Sazh?
Freeze! Take us!
You should be proud. Your son's a hero. The boy who saved Cocoon. We'll erect a memorial in Eden and put his crystal on display.
A memorial? He's a little boy!
As the son of a pulseless sea, he would have lived in shame and misery. Isn't it better he be treated with reverence as a monument to sacrifice? The next time your eyes open will be the last.
I'm pathetic.
That's my life. I'm the one who lied to everyone.
Forget it. You can't change what's done.
But
if I just told the truth.
Now. I've been thinking. You woke up from being a crystal once. Well, that means Dodge will wake up one day too, right? What was it like? I mean, how did it happen? You were done with your focus, right?
I was chosen. I was made into a l'Cie to fight against Cocoon. It happened back on Grand Pulse, hundreds of years ago. We finished our focus, and we fell into a long crystal sleep. We woke up on Cocoon to the start of a new focus. Fang, she'd forgotten everything. And for me, just the thought of hurting people again, it was too much. So I lied. I played dumb, said I'd lost my memory. I wanted to escape my fate as a l'Cie. And ever since then, I've been running away from it.
Let us through! Block our way, you die!
You trying to get him angry?
Yeah, I thought maybe they'd run. There's been enough blood spilled.
You thought they'd run? Let me refresh your memory. Those soldiers think they're protecting Cocoon from l'Cie. The fal'Cie have them all brainwashed.
fal'Cie? I have had it. We cannot let this go on.
Attention all crew, code green. Repeat, code green. Security forces stand by. Hostile forces on board, code green.
Apologies for letting this episode overrun a little bit longer. I forgot how long that cutscene was actually, but obviously that cutscene is actually really interesting. It actually shows you an awful lot. Gives obviously a first-hand view of what happened on the first day of the 13 days before the purge. And although I will say I do find it amusing how there's like a unique way of crystallization for every single character. So you'll see like Vanille's crystal was very different from Sarah's, which is very different from Dart, and all this sort of stuff. And obviously the way the characters come out of their crystals are also rather different, as you'll see towards the end. So Vanille is it's a bit gratuitous. Let's just put it that way. But obviously a very an important one. It actually shows you a lot about what Vanille is. Obviously the fact that she lied to Fang, and how she realised that the first illustration that Vanille was actually, as she says, she was chosen as a l'Cie to attack Cocoon in the War of Transgression. So actually Vanille is over 500 years old, and she's been in crystal stasis for 500 years and only now has woken up. So that's a really interesting thing to put into perspective. The same with Fang. So obviously, you know, they've been in crystal sleep for this long. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this episode at the start of Chapter 9. And obviously, I should also say, it's obviously good to see that Sazh didn't kill himself, because, I mean, where would we be without Sazh? So, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, this first episode in Chapter 9. And I hope you will join me for the next, where we will continue to make our way through the Palamisia here, continue to battle the various troops, and I think we'll get our first change in team. I'm hoping we will, but we'll see. So I hope to see you on the next episode.